What is up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Today we're going to be doing another Four Squared album collection here, and we are going to be ranking basically 1 through 4. Which one of these albums I put at 1, I rank the best. I rank second, I rank third, and fourth. So, like I showed you on the pilot episode, I'm going to be doing this one solo though, for right now. But I want to give a shout out to Lucas, who gave me a recommendation on the pilot episode, and he gave us these 4 albums to rank against each other. So that is what we're going to be doing today, and those 4 albums are going to be Trixter's debut album, Nelson's debut album After the Rain, Queensryche's album Empire from 1990, and Steelheart's debut album as well. All of these are from 1990, and so that makes it kind of fun in and of itself. But this will be a good one because this, at first glance, I was kind of like, I think I know what I think my number one is going to be. But the more I was visiting these albums, I was like, I don't know. This is actually really hard here. So let us talk through it with each other here today, and let me know in the comments what you guys think of each of these albums and which order you would put these at. And also let me know your recommendations for our next Four Squared episode. So let us start with here Queensryche's Empire. Okay. Great album. I had this album since I was probably like 14, 15. Actually, let me look here. I had all 4 of these albums since I was an early teenager, I will say, before 16, before 17, 16 years old. And great track listings here. Now, I will say, I do actually I do visit for a Queensryche. This isn't my favorite Queensryche album, but I think I do actually visit it more than Operation Mindcrime, believe it or not. Don't tell Brian that, because he might lose his shit, because he absolutely loves Operation Mindcrime, and he loses his shit too when you also say Queensryche is not a hair metal band. So we might have to hold off on that debate here, guys, with Brian. But let's talk about this album. Best I Can. You lead off with that. Jet City Woman was a single. Best I Can, I think, was a single too. Another Rainy Night Without You, great song, another single. And the ballad off of here, Silent Lucidity, which I remember I was not the biggest fan of that song to begin with. But over the years, I've grown to really like that song, and I listen to it still to this day, and I really enjoy that song. I like the content of the song, like the lyrics and stuff like that. I just really cool. Kind of what I ended up growing into as far as like mentally and stuff like that, which we are a little mental, but like mentality and stuff, like what he sings about, like going on to the afterlife, or like just being, in another world, kind of like it's more than just yourself. Kind of, there's a lot of shit in that song, and it's really cool. It's really mind awareness and such like that, conscious awareness and stuff like that. So definitely a cool song as you get older, cooler song as you get older. But yeah, I mean, you got a couple songs here though that I just do not really remember or care for. You got like The Thin Line, uh Hand on Heart, One and Only. Like I don't really remember these songs. So I can't really say, so like half the album is really, really good and very well done, and the other half is like, I don't really remember what these songs are. Della Brown is actually an interesting one because it's a 7-minute song, and it's kind of like the same slow pace throughout the whole song. It's not a ballad or anything, at least in my view, but it's just a slow tempoed song. And I kind of listen to it only just for the bass throughout the song. But, Jeff, the vocalist and stuff, he helps save the song, if you will, or helps bring it out, like makes it something different. He really carries it, him and along with bass, really carries that song. But 7 minutes, you might be able to shave like a minute of that and be better off. But within the context of the album, I'm okay with it. It's not like that big of like an ear sore to me. But it's a good song. And then obviously the other single here was Empire, the title track. Really good, awesome like lyrical content, like government overspending and shit like that, like everything the government does wrong and shit. And Queensryche talked about that on Operation Mindcrime, that type of stuff as well. So that's really cool. Uh, yeah, just like the amount, and we see that even today, like the amount of spending from all governments is absolutely crazy, and which is why we all need to find the solution that is out there into curing that problem. So, but that's for another episode, another topic, and another time. So, but this album though is really good. I cannot. This has always been a part of my life. At least the last half of my life, I would say, and good. I whenever it comes on, I listen to it. Not too much to say. Just like I said, there's deeper cuts. I just don't really remember much. So that kind of hurts. So yes, we did just talk about Queensryche's album. So let us go where we want to go to next.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy Paris from Count 77 and Brittany Fox, and I've got some solo albums at TommyParis.com. More importantly, right now, you are watching and listening to the Krash Kourse Metal Show.
Do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Trixter, I guess. We'll talk about them, the Jersey Boys. So we have here their debut album. We did just do a forgotten albums episode involving Trixter from 1990. If you guys want to check that out, I'll put the link right here. And good album. Now it is very teenish, mature wise. It's very 16, 17, 18 style, not necessarily bubblegum, I would say, but it's closer to that than certainly Queensryche's content and lyrical content and like just tone of the album. This is, you're have fun. Like you are in high school when you're listening to this album. But yeah, and the same thing with Queensryche. That album did go triple platinum. And surprisingly, this album here for Trixter did go gold. That surprised me the last time I was talking about this album and I found that out. But you got good stuff here. Line of Fire is good. Heart of Steel, One in a Million was a uh, single. Surrender was the ballad single off of this, which is a really good ballad. I will not talk. I won't talk bad about that song at all. And then obviously you had the, I guess, biggest hit would have been "Give It to Me Good." Cool. I mean, it's cool. It's different, but it is a little bit more on the light side of things as far as when you're talking hair metal and stuff. They fit into that tough and Pretty Boy Floyd feel and era of hair metal, if you will. Same type of tone and deal, in my opinion. Uh, you know, really good stuff here though. Play Rough is fun. I like that song. Good riff on there. Yeah, I don't only young once. I like the message in that song. You got 12 tracks though on here. You could take a couple of these tracks off and be stronger. You almost have an hour worth of music. And I feel like I don't need a Trixter album to be an hour's worth of music on there. I think you do run into a little bit of filler, even with the Queensryche. You didn't need to have, you know, what 11 songs, but there are songs on that album which takes us that are over 7 minutes long. So it's a little bit of a longer album as well. So yeah, I kind of think that I like this Trixter album, but it's not my favorite. It doesn't make a top 50 hair metal album for me. Uh, but in the right context and me playing it and where I'm at in that day or that week, I can get down with it. Like even when I listened to it today and before this video, I was like, this is good stuff. I mean, it's just fun. It's not serious, and that's the thing. because it's not. It don't. It's not a spread eagle. It's not a jackal. It's nothing like that from the early '90s. So it's more on, like I said, the high school era of the early '90s and that target audience. So, but good stuff there nonetheless. Like I said, I like that album a lot. All right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say about Trixter for the most part. If you guys, like I said, if you guys want to see more of an in-depth look at Trixter, go check out that 1990 Forgotten Albums episode, the most recent one. And let's move on here now to Steelheart.
Hell yes.
I love Steelheart. The band, I love the first two albums. Absolutely great stuff. Majenko, the vocalist, easy top 5 vocalist, in my opinion, of hair metal and just of the 80s in general. Absolutely great voice. He carries whatever songs that weren't strong, like on in this catalog, and he absolutely makes them what they are, And now, don't get me wrong, the band does great on a lot of these songs. Great solos, great tone, great riffs. I like the drums sound on this album as well, and on the second album, Tag on the Reigns, which I don't even know what I actually visit the most between these two. They're really neck and neck, to be completely honest with you. So, but as far as Steelheart goes, we have here 10 tracks. That's where I want to be. But there are like 3 songs, 4 songs that are over 6 minutes long, or even 6.5 minutes long. So that's pretty crazy in and of itself. So you're looking at 55 minutes, give or take here. But I like this though. This works. With Janko's voice, I can listen to that all day. Just great high shrieking sounds, but also with class and quality to it. Um, it's not like something totally wild like Jim Gillette, which is absolutely, he's great in his own right. I think he's a top 5 metal vocalist in my book as well. But there's something about Majenko though that just is world class though. Like I don't know how to explain it. You just gotta listen to these albums. Uh but you start off with Love Ain't Easy. Great track, opening track, riff. Just, man, don't get fooled with Majenko's voice as to where like Steelheart isn't a heavy band. Now, when I say heavy, I'm not even talking like Spread Eagle or thrash or like heavy metal in general. I'm not talking like heavy like that, but like compared it to Trixter or even Nelson, like which we will talk about, just other bands from this time that were getting a lot of the mainstream play. Um, Certainly Steelheart. If you would take Majenko's vocals off of this album and get more of an edgier vocalist, uh with not as much highness to his voice and just overall greatness of a voice. I think this debut album would be somewhat heavy. Like we would be talking maybe more in a little bit of a sleazier attitude than say with Majenko, which is more of a melodic, more easily digestible feel. So, but yeah, you got here. Oh my gosh, Love Ain't Easy, which we just kind of talked about. Can't Stop Me Loving You, great riff. I think they had a music video for that as well. Yeah, then you had the ballad, which everyone knows. Angel Eyes, or I'll Never Let You Go. Take your pick. It's the same song, so just different uh, names for them. But whatever. So yeah, definitely, guys. Here with Steelheart, Everybody Loves Eileen was another track that was awesome on this. Very very melodic track, and certainly uh, certainly creates an earworm, in your brain. Yeah, you can't forget about it. Sheila, that song is almost 8 minutes long, but great bluesiness to it. Oh my gosh, like some of these slower tracks, even on like She's Gone, which is another ballad. Like when Majenko does that shit live, like he did like some kind of like an MTV Unplugged or something like that in that type of atmosphere. And man, like he fucking goes off on that shit. Like he carries that show like it was like an acoustic type show, like just by himself, man. Like look the fuck out. Yeah. So Gimmy's fun. That's a great one too. Like I said, even the ballad, Angel Eyes. I kind of it is somewhat overplayed, but when that comes on, man, I'm just like in so awe of like how Bajenko could get as high as he does with. I think he even gets higher than the guitar tone and like some of the notes that the guitar, you know, shrieks out, during the solo and before the solo and stuff like that. Like it just blows my mind at some of that shit. Like it just totally overlooked of the sheer class and talent of this band in general, just as a whole, that they don't get enough respect, in my opinion. It's a great album. This is a great album. Definitely one that I certainly recommend to anybody, especially if you're a fan of the hair metal and more melodic, but with just slightly of an edge on the guitars and the guitar tone. Uh, but yeah, so let us go to the next one here. This one's gonna be fun because that is going to be Nelson's "After the Rain" from 1990, and it's funny because one of my favorite songs on here is "More Than Ever," and AJ, one of the guests that comes on the show, whenever we hang out, whenever like I meet him at a bar or whatever, every time I walk in, we look at each other and go like,
Do I love you, baby? Yeah, 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 more than
and
ever.
it's just like in a non-homo way, but like everyone around us are like, "Whoa, what the hell's going on here?"
What is going on?
Yeah, like, but it's just awesome, and it's an absolutely great song. This album actually went double platinum, which kind of makes sense because you had the two big singles, uh, "Can't Hardly Live Without Your Affection," and then also "After the Rain" title track. Yeah, I mean, and you had 2 ballads on here too that are really good. Tracy's song slash Only Time Will Tell, and then you also had Everywhere I Go, and which I think I actually prefer of the 2 ballads, but I think I'm not sure if this is a cover because it's not written by anyone in the band, but I don't remember hearing anyone saying that it was a cover or ever heard the song anywhere else. So that's interesting. Let me know in the comments what if you guys know what the answer to that is. But 2 great ballads on here. I Can Hardly Wait's cool. Fill You Up, I Will You Love Me? I don't great way to finish off the album. You got 10 tracks here, 45 minutes. Now, I will say there's 1 or 2 tracks that are just okay. Uh, that is kinda like on the, what you expect from Nelson. Now, people talk shit on Nelson, man. I don't give a goddamn what you say about Nelson. I'm gonna listen to this album and enjoy this album because it's good. I people just make fun of him because they look, they had this look to them. Apparently, I don't know. Go look at Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In. Everyone thinks that's cool as shit, which it is. But like, okay, so what? Okay, this came out in 1990 instead of 1986. So what's the problem with the way they look? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's great melodic stuff, and I just really enjoy that album. I always did. I always did. Ever since I picked that up, because I picked it up because I did like the singles off of it, and that's why I picked it up. And I just was like, why do people want to give this album so much shit after I listened to it? I'm like, there's some good stuff on here, like is it the top 50 hair metal album? I don't know. That is yet to be seen and figured out. I don't know. It's certainly in question, I would say. I could debate with myself on that. But yeah, like I said, my favorite song probably on here is uh definitely I Can Hardly Wait or, More Than Ever. Certainly one of the two. But like I said, there's a lot of great stuff on here, and there's a lot of great stuff on all 4 of these albums. This is a hard one because, like, when I was listening to these albums this week, I was like, man, I don't. There's plenty of good stuff on each one. Not a whole lot of bad on any of them, but we do have to make a ranking here, and I think it just comes down to how much I visit the albums throughout the year, and that's kind of how I'm gonna go by ranking it. and just the sheer enjoyability of when I'm listening to that album. So, and if something goes in at 4, it's not because it's a bad album. It's just because I listen to these other ones and enjoy these other ones just a little bit more. We are going to start with our number 4, and that is going to be Trixter's debut album. That's going to be our number 4, guys. So, still worth checking out, but understand kind of what you're getting into as far as Pretty Boy Floyd and Tough type stuff, like that type of deal. All right, coming in at number 3, which I kind of thought this one might have been a little bit higher, but the more I was just like sitting with myself with these albums, I was like, there are some spots where I'm like, I don't remember this song, and that is going to be Queensryche Empire. Like I said, great stuff. Christ, half the album was singles. Good stuff all the way around. But like I said, when I was going through it, I'm like, I don't really remember the song, and it's just like, some of the stuff was kind of missing, and I was like, I just got more joy out of these next two when I was listening to it. So number 2, I think this is tough. This is tough. No, my 1 and 2 spot, but I think I'm gonna go with Nelson at my 2 spot after the rain. But like I said, there's somewhat of a connection here. Like, well, like when I said me and AJ, like whenever I see that son of a bitch, I think of this album and think of Nelson. And like when we were talking on the live stream the other week, we were so disappointed when we went to go see Nelson at a show. They were the opening band with 3 other bands, and the ticket said be here. The show starts at 7, and we're sitting out in the parking lot. We hear Nelson start playing at 6:30, and we got so pissed off because like that was like the first time I seen Nelson. I'm like, okay, so now I get to miss like half the set at least because someone started at 6:30. Like someone told them to start at 6:30 or whatever the deal was, but the ticket said 7, so fuck off. All right. But no, like I think of that album now, like whenever I like talk to AJ or see AJ or whatever. So like a little bit of a connection there. But nonetheless, I liked the music before I even met AJ. So like I had this album before then, and I always enjoyed it. But it's just like I never expected to meet someone in person that liked Nelson as much as I did, and that's why there's a a respect for AJ. That I can say. All right. Our number 1, as you guys should figure out by now, it is Steelheart's debut album. And like I said, I don't know which one I visit the most out of the first 2 albums, Tangled and Reigns or this debut here. But man, whenever I put this on, I'm like, how did this album not go more than just gold? Like, absolutely amazing. And if it wasn't for the ballad, it wouldn't have done probably shit. And it just amazes me. It amazes me. So that is going to be our 1, 2, 3, 4 rank, our 4 squared here, guys. So let me know what your guys' ranking is on these 4 albums. And also let me know in the comments too, what you guys want to see as far as your recommendations. Give me 4 albums in the hair metal space.
Talk to me.
I will certainly rank them, and they can be same ones. Like I want to be hitting some of these same albums again, but just in a different 4 as well. So if you see something in this series that already been brought up, you can bring it up again, but just don't bring up the same 4. I won't have the same like 3 or 2 on the same same 4 squared, if that makes sense. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. We love doing this stuff here. We love bringing you guys the live streams. We love giving you guys some different stuff. We love talking about this hair metal, this unknown and forgotten stuff. Whether it's past, present, or future, we love talking about that stuff. And we're just happy that you're here. We want to build this community. We want to build more people like you, like us, keep this stuff alive, and just absolutely great music. And it more than deserves to be kept alive. Thank you guys so much for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Until next time, stay out of that collateral damage. And if you guys enjoyed this video, check out this one right here.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.